In this episode of the Great Indian Points and Miles Show, we crack the ultimate travel hack: how to travel first and business class for free using miles.
I remember very distinctly somebody walked up to me and said, Ki, sir, I've seen all these pictures on Twitter where people are showing there is a bed and there is a TV on a flight.
It's just having like a 7 hour date, man, with someone. That's the way I would put it, right? If you're very rigid about flying only from a particular airport, it's hard to do these experiences on points and miles. Meet Jay, better known as @TrickyTrade on X and on Instagram. Brain behind rightonpoints.com, 9th of Jan 2023. I was looking through our history. I sent you a question saying that how do I fly Etihad apartments? You responded 95k Etihad points. 22nd of Jan, I put that to use and I got the ticket. Thanks to your gyan, back then, 2 years back, I was able to experience the same apartment. So thanks for making.
And then Adil was never the same person again after that.
All the Japanese airlines, be it ANA or JL, they have impeccable soft product to the dot. I mean, you can't fault them. Till date, I rate my ANA business experience as one of the best business class products that's flying out there. I think ANA business beats Q Suites.
Know which airline you want to book for and pick the best partner that lets you book at the best redemption rates.
Always understand you might be a points millionaire, but points are precious.
Lights flashing bright, we're on the go. Tune in now, there's so much to know. Earning bits, travel dreams we sow. All aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. Zero to hero in the blink of an eye. Fly first class, no need to be shy. Redemption sweet, touching the sky. Award seats booked, let's give it a try. Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo.
Ever dreamed of sipping Dom Perignon at 40,000 feet in first class without paying for it? Imagine stretching out in a private suite, indulging in gourmet meals and arriving refreshed, all without spending a fortune. What if I told you that luxury travel isn't just for the rich, but for the smart? In this episode of the Great Indian Points and Miles Show, we crack the ultimate travel hack: how to travel first and business class for free using miles. In this episode, we reveal frequent flyer programs that unlock first and business class seats, how to book ultra premium flights on points before anybody else, the credit card tricks that fuel luxury travel without overspending, why Marriott, American Airlines, and LifeMiles are things you need to know and could be potential gold mines for luxury travel. Finally, the hidden costs of free travel and how to avoid it. If you've ever wanted to fly like a CEO without paying for one, this is your golden ticket. Welcome to a very special episode of the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. As always, I'm joined by my co-founders, Dhimant and Ameya. But today, we've got a guest who takes travel hacking to another level. Meet Jay, better known as @TrickyTrade on X and on Instagram. Brain behind rightonpoints.com, a premium newsletter and blog dedicated to unlocking the best air miles and credit card deals. Let me tell you something. I'm a subscriber of Jay's newsletter, and I was just telling him before recording this, one of those deals that he sent me last year was absolute gold. I was visiting New York, and he sent a deal via the newsletter which said one of the luxury collection hotels in New York, which typically goes for like 130k points a night, was available for 37,000 points a night only. I was able to book it for 2 nights at 74k. It was a banger of a deal. So again, that's Jay for you. With over a decade of experience, he isn't just an expert in the India points and miles game, he's cracked the international scene too. From scoring hundreds of redemptions to earning multiple millions of miles, he's all about making travel simple, accessible, and insanely rewarding. Jay, thanks for joining in today. Appreciate you making time.
Thanks, Adil. Thanks. Good to be here and love that energy on the opening.
थैंक्स जय धीमंत अमिया स्वागत है ये तो आपका इश्यू है
हम तो रेगुलर कैदी इस शो के सो
We are
like a
what
good
you would call
evening.
what Ghar ki Murgi.
Jay, let's start with the big question. India wants to know. You've flown some of the most exclusive cabins in the world. Etihad Apartments, Ana First, and American Airlines Flagship First. What was that moment when you realized I can actually do this on points?
I guess when you realize that you can't really afford any of the that's when you have to figure out what are the other ways to do it. Yeah, but been into this for quite a while. I mean, going back to the whole 9W Jet Airways days with the HDFC and American Express co-branded cards. Flew a lot of jet business back in the day. That gave way to Vistara, and then the whole US game happened with due to work and professional commitments there, and that exposed me to the points and miles game on an entirely different scale. Then Access happened here, which was a moment of revelation for much of the Indian audience, and everyone got introduced to a lot of these frequent flyer programs, hotel programs. Yeah, almost been about a decade doing this, or slightly, or even more now. It's been fun.
What Jay is referring to in the form of the Axis loot is Axis launched the Magnus a couple of years back, right? Before it was Magnus Burgundy. And then they brought in this bonus which said that, you spend a lakh a month and we'll just give you 25,000 points. And that's when pretty much a lot of the country said, what is going on? And really need to get onto this bandwagon. I want to understand, Jay, did you have the Magnus before the 25K or did you get it after the 25K?
Yes, so there were two parts to it. You could earn the 25,000 reward points when Magnus was launched. But back then, this whole edge travel, the portal wasn't there, and there were no transfer partners as such. So the best way to redeem those reward points would be for a 40 paise value against some of those a specific list of vouchers, and that was pretty good in itself. But then I think the game completely changed when they bought in the transfer partners. That is when, I mean, suddenly those 25,000 edge reward points were worth so much more.
Yeah, I always say, God bless the product manager who brought this to life. They are single-handedly responsible for making so many of us experience so many cabins.
No, but Adil, I think we spoke about it, right? If you get HDFC to respond, that itself is a suggestion or a thought that Axis has done a good job, right? Because HDFC responded. I mean, they were sleeping for the longest of times on partner redemptions, etc., and they responded, right? But interestingly, Jay said something that caught my attention outside Magnus, obviously. Jay spoke about the fact that how the entire Jet Airways and Vistara and the entire learning that Indians have had with this airline has been a game changer. And I almost sound like an uncle because Kingfisher was even before that, right? So Kingfisher, Jet Airways, and almost everybody who is flying pro today, right, has started the journey on either Jet or Vistara, right? I mean, Jet was great because it also gave you access to Etihad in a way that a partnership really worked for people, right? But I mean, that really is something that helped Indians kind of take that first step ahead.
Yeah, and you could also there was even a HDFC Jet Airways co-branded debit card as well.
Yes. $500 I think was the fee for that card. Yeah.
I think that was very well said. We all started with the Jet voucher redemption. I always remember showing up to the gate 3 hours in advance, just going to the counter while checking in and say, Madam, can you upgrade me? And that thrill of saying, yes, sir, you've been upgraded. And it all started with that. It was, Bangalore, Delhi, 3 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever it was, sitting in those first 1A or 3A. That was a different high altogether back in the day.
Hey, but is it just me or like at least I have realized in India those good old days of telling you at the gate that you have been upgraded have like reduced significantly over the period of time. Like I don't know whether it's my new dressing sense which has changed their approach, or whether it's genuinely reduced. Like what is your guys' experience here?
Like the comp upgrades that you're talking about?
Yeah, the complimentary upgrades.
Okay.
Yeah.
Domestic, I don't recall when was the last time I had an upgrade, but I had one very recently, like late last year on an international flight, Air India.
Got it.
But then subsequently, post that, I even had a downgrade as well. As well. So, yeah. What Air India giveth, it takes away as well.
Karma.
So domestically, I don't think it's happened to me, but I think internationally, if you're flying Emirates, then the short haul sectors, it has happened to me multiple times when I'm doing Dubai, Bangalore, or always Dubai, Bangalore, never Bangalore, Dubai actually. So always Dubai, Bangalore. Oftentimes when I've been on premium economy, then you just get bumped up to business. And the cool part is.
It's your glasses. It's your glasses that Jay was talking about. That's what's giving you your upgrades.
I will wear those glasses for life if this happens. I'll never change those glasses. But the point is, the cool thing about the Emirates app is, magically an hour before departure, if you just open the Emirates app, your boarding pass will turn from green to blue. And blue is their business. So if it turns up, then you've been upgraded even before going to the gate.
Got it.
I've seen no
Got
airline
it.
do this as beautifully as Emirates does.
Do you have status?
Gold, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gold and Skywards Plus is like a lethal combination, is what I figured. So if you do international often, then I think like that is a currency worth banking on.
But then
Air India, interestingly, used to do a lot of upgrades, but now since there is a flurry of gold status holders, I reduce a lot more. Like, I mean, I've been silver for a number of years, gold a couple of times, but not all the time. But I've had a share of domestic upgrades on Air India. I believe the last one was just before the Vistara merger happened, so maybe that's got something to say about it.
Let's get into Etihad Apartments. So Etihad Apartments is stuff of legends. Most people, I don't think a lot of people know it exists. So Jay, walk us through that redemption. How did you book it? What were the miles? When was it? Give us the details. What was the experience like?
Yeah, I think Etihad really doesn't do a great job at marketing this product. Obviously, it was grounded during COVID, but everyone knows about like the Emirates first cabins, SQ first, and the suites and all of that. Everyone talks about Emirates having the shower on board and all of that. But Etihad has two of those showers on the first class A380s, and somehow it's not gotten the kind of hype or buzz that their counterparts do. But this was just after COVID, when they started flying their first A380 on the Abu Dhabi London route, and I was booked using American Airlines A Advantage miles, and it was booked for 62,500 AA miles. So the whole segment was booked as Bombay, Abu Dhabi, Abu Dhabi, London, with the Bombay to Abu Dhabi leg being on business because there's no A380 that was operating back then in the Bombay Abu Dhabi sector, and then Abu Dhabi to London was on first, which was the Etihad Apartments on board the A380, 62,500 A Advantage miles. A very minuscule amount in taxes, probably around 40-50 US dollars, because AA is like most of the American programs, they have low taxes. And it was, I mean, a great experience, right? From the ground experience at Abu Dhabi, although this was back then, the midfield terminal that now is open in Abu Dhabi, that wasn't open back then. So it was still in the old terminal. So the lounge was, although like a little dated, but then the service and everything was like fantastic.
So, Jay, for people who are in India, and a large part of our audience is in India, earning AA miles right now, Marriott is pretty much the only way, right? Is there anything else that you're aware of?
No, like practically from India, Marriott is the only way to earn air miles. There's also like the SBI card is a great way to do it as well. You can use the companion voucher, so you can have, the only thing is you need to fly with someone else. That is where the value is. So you essentially pay for just one pax and the both of you can fly. And another interesting bit about the Etihad apartments is like with the SQ suites, like some of the suites you can, the partition comes down and it's like a big room, right? So even on Etihad, the A380s, like if you take two adjacent seats, the partition does open up, not entirely, so it's not an entire space, but you do get to share like a bed together of sorts. So yeah, I mean, 8 lakhs is probably the milestone on the SBI Etihad card to get that companion voucher. That's still that's a great way to experience this.
So, Jay, I don't know if you remember this. Let me take you down nostalgia lane. I think you and I have been interacting for the last 3 years now, only via Twitter. That's the only mode of communication that we've interacted with on. 9th of Jan 2023, I was looking through our history. I sent you a question saying that how do I fly Etihad apartments? You responded 95K Etihad points, and you gave me the option to use the SBI companion voucher. Luckily, I had racked up some miles and I had that card and I had that voucher. 22nd of Jan, I put that to use and I got the ticket and used the companion voucher to good use.
Wonderful. Yeah,
I don't think we've shared this, but thanks to your gyan back then, 2 years back, I was able to experience the same apartment. So thanks for making.
And then Adil was never the same person again after that.
and it's not a card a lot of people talk about. Even today. I mean, it's not great if you want to use it as a primary card, but if you want to have that just one good redemption every year, you can. It's a fantastic card, especially if you are like a family of two.
I mean, the companion voucher is unbelievable. The
So,
value that
Adil,
it can give you. And the best part of the companion voucher, like Jay said, is you can use it in any class on points and it gives you one free.
yeah.
So, even on first, you can get buy one, get one free. I was not able to use it for the return leg. I was able to use it only for the one-way leg, but hey, doesn't matter. Abu Dhabi to London in that apartment, man, it was.
Okay, so Adil, for the like sake of people here, either you or Jay can just break it down for us. Like when you get this card, you get a companion voucher. So how do you use it? Like what
You
is the
don't get it. So what happens is, I think the base reward rate was 2.5% on the card. Once you get it, the TNC says that you got to spend 8 lakh rupees on the card. Once you spend 8 lakh
Okay.
rupees on the card, you get an email with a voucher code to your account. And then once you have it, then you can go to Etihad.com and you need to have Etihad miles to book a companion ticket. So what you can just go put your destination. Once you do that, put in that voucher code, and then you can get.
And does it availability become a challenge in this? Like is it like not the
Availability is
same
a challenge if
quota?
you're trying to look ex India, which is if you're trying to do Pune or Bangalore direct to whichever destination in the world. But if you do ex Abu Dhabi, it makes so much more sense. Availability is good ex Abu Dhabi.
So it's not the same quota as a reward or this reward seat, or like it's a different quota, or
It is
like
the same quota, in my opinion, based on my interaction with Etihad back in the day. I'd love to hear from Jay as well. But it will work only if 2 seats are available. Otherwise, it won't work, in my opinion.
got it.
Yeah, so you need 2 award seats to be available, and the other thing is you can't do a mixed cabin redemption on it. So you
Got it.
can't do a business and first on the second leg. You can have multiple segments, but it has to be in the same cabin class.
Also,
Got it.
you have to be careful with Etihad, because what happened to me is I booked this, and this is January. I booked it for October. I've gone ahead and, me being me, told my wife, hey, we are going first class and this is going to be our 14th anniversary or something. I'm going to make it grand and special. Okay. 3 months later, I get an email, equipment change. And the equipment has gone down to the 787 and they don't have first class seats. So now you've been downgraded to business. Man, it took me 4 months to call the call center, try email, LinkedIn email to whoever is there in the company. Nothing worked. 3 days before the flight, I got on a call with them again. And luckily, On that day, somebody else cancelled and availability opened up, and that's when they moved me. So like these things can happen. So just saying it out to the points in my to people in the points in miles world, it doesn't happen until you've flown. So you can get an award seat, but keep in mind that if equipments change, you can be downgraded. Jay, let's talk a little bit about the experience on the apartment, right? Let's talk about the food. Let's talk about there's a rampant space, so we'll kind of put up the pictures. But let's talk about the soft product as well.
Yeah, it's everything that you expect in a world class, first class product, from the food, like caviar, champagne, and all of that. So great food. Even in the lounge, you have a la carte dining, and now it's even better with the new first class lounge that's in the new terminal, and that even has like directly you could board the flight directly from the lounge itself. You don't need to go to the gates like a lot of the Emirates lounges that have this. Yeah, you could also like schedule once you're on board. You could schedule a charge session. I believe 10 or 15 minutes is what you get. So you can do that either just before landing or after boarding. Food is great service, very personalized attention. It used to be much better back in the day, at least in terms of the residence is concerned, which is like although like Etihad sells it as a first class product, but it's basically an upgrade from the first from the apartments to the residence. And back in the day, you would get a personal butler there, a customized menu, personalized menu, and all of that. But that post COVID, they're not doing that anymore. So the soft product is still very similar between the apartments and the residence, but the hard product is still like superior. With the residence, you get the separate bedroom, but apart from that, like from the soft product and the food, much of it is still the same.
I think residence is epic, right? I mean, imagine like almost like a queen size bed, almost right in the skies just for you. Unbelievable. And instead of one seat, that apartment kind of has three seats almost, where you're kind of sitting. It's an incredible experience. With
Adil, I have a question for you and Jay, and this happened in one of the Bangalore meetups. I remember very distinctly somebody walked up to me and said, "Ki, sir, I've seen all these pictures on Twitter where people are showing there is a bed and there is a TV on a flight and like side पे लेके जाके मेरे को पूछा उसने बोला कि सर ठीक है हम आ गए उधर अब करना क्या है and I humbly said I haven't done the residence, I haven't done the apartment, so when I come to know I'll let you know. So Adil, break it down for us, right? Like what do you do? Like is it just the feeling of being in the in such a height and in a plane and experiencing a room, or what is special about this, right? I mean, give us the, as you call it, the soft product or the emotion behind how you feel when you go through this, and why is it so special?
See, for me, it was really about making it special to my wife, who's been with me for like 15 years and tolerated me for 15 years. I would say back. I think it was our 15th that year when we went. So one is she had never flown first, and two, I had this kid off trying to fly Etihad first, and on top of it, if you're getting like a buy one get one using the voucher, why not, right? Now once you're in there, then it's just having like a 7-hour date, man, with someone. That's the way I would put it, right? So with your partner, they can put the divider down and both of you can like share the cabin, and then y'all can eat together as well. So they'll come and put like they'll dress your table up, and then impeccable a la carte dining options. Once you're done with the food service, then you sit and watch like a nice movie together as a couple. Once you're done with that, your shower's ready, go take like a nice shower. Lovely amenity kits with some of the world's most fanciest perfumes and all those lotions and all of that available. Experience that, right?
So it's like a 5-star suite on a flight, and like that's how you would describe it, right?
Yeah, and I'm like saying, like, imagine like if somebody asked me to book it on revenue, I would cry, right? I mean, those are hard things. So this is like experience.
Jay said that's when he experienced. Yeah, that's what Jay said. No, like he realized that miles and points is an option only when he saw the revenue rates. So. And how does it work for a family of 3? Like they can never do a residence, is it?
You can. So I know why you're asking, because you're a family of 3. For you, it's simple. Just buy two revenue tickets and 1 miles ticket. Enough for you. Though I have to say, in my mind, realistically, only two first seats get available, and getting two first seats itself is hard
It's a big
in
challenge.
my opinion. So you can get two first. Three, I haven't seen or met anyone who's cracked that. But Jay, have you been able to get more than two?
Again, subject to availability. Theoretically, if availability for three opens up, you could do you could use the companion voucher to book two apartments, and one separately again using points, right? But the residence, that's only for two people,
Got it.
because that can only accommodate two people. So the residence
Got
is just for two. But apartments you could do, yeah. You could use the companion voucher for one, and then just book the separate using miles separately. Or if you have, or expand to become a family of four, and then use two companion vouchers.
it. Too much to pay for doing this experience.
Cool, cool. So I think this is good about Etihad. Let's move to Anna. Now, Anna First and Business are considered some of the best in the game. Jay, let's talk about what made them so special for you and why you think they're one of the most amazing ways to burn miles.
Yeah, so the ANA first and business, that if you these were explicitly on their some of their 777s that have the new product, which the business class is called the room and the first class is called the suite. So typically, I flew both of them on the ex-US routes, and I mean, all the Japanese airlines, be it ANA or JL, they have impeccable soft product, right? Be it the catering, be it the crew, the service on board, everything is to the dot. I mean, you can't fault them. So that in itself is a great experience. I would easily, even till date, I rate my ANA business experience as one of the best business class products that are flying that's flying out there, even above the Q suites. I know people rave about the Q suites a lot, but if I see it as a whole combination of the hard product and the soft product, I think ANA business beats Q suites. The room, which is the business class product, that could easily fly as a first class product in a lot of different airlines, especially some of the Western airlines. It's just massive space around, big entertainment unit, and especially if you're someone who loves Japanese food, it's a great airline to fly.
Like I've heard, Jay, like the sashimi they serve on board is like supremely good, is what I've been told by a few friends.
Yeah, there's also a Japanese set
Yeah.
menu they serve, and I think one of their highlights is the corn soup as well. Uh, and then there's some rare hibikis. I'm not a big whiskey person, but I think that there are a few rare hibikis also that they serve on board.
Awesome.
Lovely. And just for our viewers, so two things I want to call out. One thing is you said, so for most of our viewers should know that Jay is from Pune, but he was flying from LA to Haneda to Delhi. Now the mystery behind why he was probably going to Delhi is because ANA flies only to Delhi and does not fly to Pune. So a lot of times when you're looking for your award seats, if you're based in Pune and you search for Pune to LA, then you're not going to be able to find this particular cabin. So a good hack for all of you who are just getting into the points and miles game, do look at availability from different airports. And then what you can do is you can take like a local flight, see if that makes sense, do all these calculations. And then otherwise, if you're very rigid about flying only from a particular airport, it's hard to do these experiences on points and miles. So there's always a trade-off. The other thing in this particular case is ANA doesn't just fly to Delhi, it also flies from Bombay as well. So y'all can look at ex Bombay or ex Delhi. But in case availability is not there in Bombay, then you might have to pick Delhi or vice versa. Of course, if you have a genuine reason to be in Delhi, even better, right? So then you can kind of, like Ameya calls it, double dip, which is this.
Now, for me, it's I when I'm looking at flights, especially inbound into India, Delhi is my first preferred choice.
Why is that, Jay?
I'm a very lazy person, right? So flying into Bombay means there's a 3.5 4 hours road journey back to Pune. But whereas if I fly into Delhi, I can just
Pick
connect,
up there.
tack on a domestic flight and fly directly into Pune, and then that's 30 minutes. So it's easy easier for me.
Understood. Second question, Jay. We do not have current transfer partners to ANA amongst the India credit card ecosystem, right? The only route right now is for India people via Bonvoy, or are there other routes?
No, the best way to book would be use LifeMiles. They're a Star Alliance
So,
partner.
break it down. So, I don't think a lot of our viewers would know this. So, let's talk about Life Miles as a currency. Let's talk about Life Miles as a program. Let's talk about what it is, and then say why Life Miles.
Hey, before Jay goes ahead, I want to also say that for somebody like me, maybe it's not about only the first class and the business product. I'm also looking at one very interesting thing which I saw on the net, which is a Pikachu jet, which ANA had. From that day, I've been thinking about trying to fly ANA. So ANA is gold for me right now. I want to hear. I don't even like Pikachu, but still, I want to fly that jet.
Yeah, there's a Pikachu jet. There's also they had an A380 with the turtle livery. They
Wow.
used to fly it to they call it the Flying Honu, I believe. They used to fly it to Hawaii.
Japan is crazy, man. Like, yeah, go ahead, Jay. Like, break it down for us.
Yeah, so LifeMiles is it's the frequent flyer program of the Colombian flag carrier Avianca, and they're a Star Alliance partner. I kind of refer them as the wholesaler for Star Alliance miles because they have these crazy sales anywhere from 140% bonus to 200% bonus at times as well. So if you're someone who doesn't want to play the whole credit card game but still wants to do some of these flights that would otherwise incur a lot of out of pocket expense, just buying life miles also can be a great option. So life miles, Avianca Star Alliance partner, so ANA again a Star Alliance partner, so theoretically you could book any of the Star Alliance members through life miles, be it Lufthansa, Air India, ANA, and others. There's also another good way to book ANA is using Virgin Atlantic Flying Club miles, which is a great way to use Amex points by transferring them to VS. But the only caveat there is that the surcharges, like Virgin being Virgin, the surcharges and taxes would be a little higher, but the points requirement is lower than what it is on Life Miles. But either of those, like great programs too, if you want to redeem ANA.
So there are a couple of things I want to call out on this, right? And this for our viewers is one, if you're going the Avianca route and if you're making like a big redemption, number of points, get hold of their Life Miles Plus program. The unfortunate downside is you have to book minimum 6 months. But the upside is it gives you 10% off on Star Alliance redemptions. So do that maths in case that works out for you. It can be yet another way to squeeze out more value. Virgin, the other thing that I will also call out with respect to what Jay mentioned, and yeah, it's I think one of the cheapest ways to get your ANA business in first classes. However, if you search on the Virgin site, it's not going to come up. So you're going to have to call them up, tell them, "Ki boss, this is the flight I want. Can you get it for me?" Typically, they share the same award seats with other airlines as well. So look out on other airlines for availability, and then call up Virgin and then get it booked.
Awesome. I think that's a very good nugget
Yeah.
of information.
Also, with Life Miles, a very big disclaimer is they run these crazy promos, but don't like really go out of your way to just hoard
Yeah.
points because they can do like crazy unannounced devaluations. So make sure you have availability, cross check that it exists, then buy the required amounts if you want to. Otherwise you can obviously transfer from HDFC, and HDFC Access I believe doesn't transfer to Life Miles yet, right? HDFC is the
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's only HDFC.
HDFC is the only option, and of course Marriott. Yeah.
And SGFC is 0.5, right? That's
0.5, yeah, 0.5. With Life Miles, like I said, I think buying Life Miles is any day a great option. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think our favorite card will also give the special bonus on the
Not
miles, right?
anymore. Not
No?
anymore.
Okay.
So this was until like a year back, I would say, when LifeMiles used to sell their own points, so the transaction would be coded as an airline purchase, so you would get a 5x. But now they have partnered with points.com to sell their miles,
Okay.
so they're no longer, yeah.
So I think for our viewers, Life Miles, one of the other ways you can use it, and not necessarily luxury redemptions, but if you're doing an Air India, India to US kind of a flight, I believe it's 45,000. I forgot what the rate is with the Life Miles Plus or not. I believe it was 42,000 with the Life Miles Plus. I think it's a little more if you don't have that. But if you're looking at least as of today, it's one of the cheaper ways for getting, cheapest ways of getting into the US, let's just say.
I think
Yeah,
that's a
so I think with Air India availability on LifeMiles in general is pretty decent. I mean, of course, the big challenge is Air India releasing just one award seat to partners, be it business or first. But to the US, I believe it's 60,000 on business and 90,000 for first, and to Europe it's 45,000 in business and 60,000 in first. I had a recent redemption on Air India first, which was London to Bombay again. This is the flight I got downgraded on, and this was 60,000 with the 10% discount on the Life Miles Plus. It was like 54,000 for a first class service on a flagship route. So
Jay, what happens? You get downgraded on AI first, and then how do you get recompensated?
yeah, so this was I was flying back on AI first, London Bombay. I had selected my seat. I turn up at the airport. The check-in guy, he calls in a supervisor. He comes in and he very, very politely explains me that, sir, we have a certain number of seats that are in-op or non-functioning. They basically don't recline. Unfortunately, you are on one of those seats, and I know you are in Star Alliance Gold and all of that, but on our priority list, kind of internal list that they maintain, if there's a situation like this where you have two passengers and you have to give them one seat, so the airline, like most airlines, will obviously kind of prioritize the revenue passenger who's paid for the ticket versus the miles, right? Which is completely fair. I mean, that's a fair way to do it. So he explained that we have these non-functioning seats on first. I can give you two options. You want to fly first, you can fly first. The seats will recline, or I can give you a fully functional business class seat. I can downgrade you to the business class seat. I'll give you a F boarding pass right now, so you can access the first class lounges and everything. And then once you're at the check-in gate, I'll give you the business class boarding pass. And for the compensation, we'll refund you the mileage that you have paid. So technically, like, I flew that business class flight with not paying for it as such, because the miles were refunded.
Okay, so yeah, you mentioned that Avianca has a number of these sales, right? And I've personally used them in the past, and you're able to get a value of as much as, say, 1 rupee for 1 mile. So let's go through it end to end. So you said you booked Air India first class from London to India. Do you want to talk about the mileage requirement, and then we will link it back to our users on what would it take to have such an experience?
Yeah, so London to India or India London on Life Miles is 45,000 in business and 60,000 in first. You obviously get that 10% discount if you have the Life Miles Plus subscription.
Makes sense.
So basically, it boils down to roughly you're going to end up paying 50,000 rupees worth of miles purchase, and for that you're getting a first class flight, London to India.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Yes, absolutely.
So there you have it. So next time you want to fly to London, the hack is you have to make up your mind to fly Air India. And if you're okay flying Air India, what we're saying is go to Life Miles, ensure you buy miles when there's a sale, but please ensure that you don't buy miles if you don't have a plan of traveling. If you don't have a plan, a lot of time people hoard points, and when they hoard points, it's like the stock markets. You know what happens? When people say mutual funds are subject to market risks. Please read offer documents carefully before investing. It's pretty much similar like that, right? You got to read the terms and conditions and have a definite plan. When you have a definite plan and there's a LifeMiles offer, go ahead, buy them. And then when the maths works out and your 1 mile is equal to 1 rupee, that is when you can do a first class flight for about 50,000 rupees, and it's a no-brainer. Why will you not do it if you're getting like a return for 1 lakh, where anyways you would typically pay for only about 50-60K anyways, right? But Jay, Dhimant, Ameya, this has been fantastic, an absolute masterclass in flying first and business class for almost free. Big thank you to Jay. His handle on Instagram and on X is @the_tricky_trade for sharing his expertise. If you ever want to stay ahead of the game, also check out Right On Points for the latest deals and insights. He runs a very cool newsletter. And of course, big thank you to my co-founders, Dhimant and Ameya. And they are also hyperactive on X, like they always are. So do give them a follow. And they're always having a blast geeking out on points and miles with all of you. If you enjoyed this episode, like, share, subscribe to the Great Indian Points and Miles Show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. आप जहां पर भी जाते हो, हम हैं वहां पे. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and X. So follow us for real-time tips and travel hacks. Also, don't forget to drop a comment below. What's your dream redemption? Which topic should we cover next? Your feedback helps us shape future episodes. Also, do you want to be on the podcast? It'll be fun to have some of our commenters, listeners on the podcast. So if you'd like to be there, drop a comment and tell us why. We'd love to kind of bring you guys on board someday. Until then, until next time, happy travels, and may your upgrades always clear is my prayer for you.
Flashing bright, we're on the go. Tune in now, there's so much to know. Earning bits, travel dreams we sow. All aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. Zero to hero in the blink of an eye. Fly first class, no need to be shy. Redemption sweet, touching the sky. Award seats booked, let's give it a try. Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo. Hidden treasures in every flight. Nights in places that feel so right. From deserts to the city lights. Get set, steal those dazzling sights. Miles stack up each passing day. Rewards come back in a million ways. In this game you want to play the Great Indian Adventure, yay! Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo.